Hello, my name is Joshua Izzard. I'm the co-founder and administrative director of the Nashville International Chopin Piano Competition, taking place in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee in October of this year. Together with my co-founder and artistic director of the competition, Graciela Kowalczyk, and our many volunteers, staff, and vendors, we look forward to welcoming you to Music City to have the time of your life performing in a new, radically different and transparent competition that is 100% a meritocracy for performing talent. Today I'll be answering your questions from the perspective of the competition administration rather than as a juror, as I retain only the tiebreaker vote in the unlikely event that two competitors receive exactly the same score from the jury. What is the single most important thing when performing Chopin? For me, Chopin is unquestionably the most difficult composer to perform beautifully, convincingly, and with originality while revealing the emotional depth and complexity of his music. So the single most important thing is therefore the flawless execution of a sound world that suits Chopin and also reveals the character of the performer. His sound world is one of the piano and the unique colors and acoustic of the instrument, and not an orchestral palette, in contrast to, say, Schumann, Liszt, or Brahms. And so the performer must endeavor to create this sound world every time he or she performs Chopin. What Chopin works should one avoid when participating in a competition? Some of Chopin's works are remarkably idiosyncratic in their structure, as well as melodic and harmonic variety. This can lead to jury members naturally having a very strong opinion about the quote-unquote correct rendition within some degree of variance. Examples of works whose performance can be very controversial include, for me, Sonata No. 2 in B-flat minor, the Polonaise Fantasie, and the Fantasy in F minor. If you believe in your interpretation and have performed these works with success and conviction that you have felt was appreciated and loved by your audience, give it a go. But think 10 times about how you have felt about audience response, because the jury is just that, a very well-tuned audience with a variety of approaches and tastes. What are complete deal breakers for you in one's Chopin interpretation? If you listen to my response to question 1, my response to what the complete deal breakers are in performing Chopin will come as no surprise to you. Harshness of sound leading to an ineffective piano-centric acoustic world that does not convey the rich, romantic, and emotional fabric of Chopin's music is a real deal breaker for me. People sometimes ask, is there really a difference in the sound generated depending on one's physical touch? The scientific and pianistic answer is yes, there is a difference. When your muscles are tense and you hold the key to the key bed when playing, two things occur simultaneously. First, the impact of the key on the felt becomes more percussive and audible. And second, the tense muscle in contact with the keyboard physically conducts the sound of the piano like electricity through wire, straight through the dampening effect of the performer's body, through the soft piano bench, and dying into the floor of the stage. This is why some performers' sound seems to reverberate and float in the hall like magic, while others is sharp, stinging, unpleasant, and short-lived. How should you choose your 45-minute Chopin recital program? In choosing your 45-minute Chopin recital program, or any length of program for that matter, first bear in mind the general comments from question 2 about works to avoid based on audience response. And secondly, I would advise you to focus on a storyline for your program that is an emotional journey with peaks, valleys, straightways, and turns. A program that highlights the emotional richness of the performer's own character as revealed through the lens of Chopin's music and draws the listener in with variety and structure will serve you and the audience well. Who are your favorite Chopin pianists? This is a long list. From the grand masters of a bygone era, Joseph Levine, Vladimir Horowitz, Joseph Hoffman, and Arthur Rubinstein, possibly Georgi Cifra and Heinrich Neuhaus. In more modern times, Sviatoslav Richter, Adam Harasiewicz, Arturo Benedetti Michelangeli, maybe a few others. And amongst modern pianists, most decidedly, Alexei Sultanov towers above others, along with Mikhail Pletnyov, and in some cases, Ivo Pogorelic and Christian Zimmermann. As you can see, I find affinity with a wide range of interpretations, as long as they are masterful and emotionally authentic, as well as perfectly executed. How do you deal with nerves while performing? This is an interesting question for me, as I have not performed on stage since a worsening hand injury and surgeries led me to stop playing and switch to business in 2005. However, when I was performing, and now when I present in my role in business, there are some key commonalities. The first is that we rarely, quote unquote, rise to the occasion. Rather, we tend to sink to the level of our preparation and training. Therefore, being comfortable with and having performed works many times on stage is key. Secondly, acceptance of the adrenaline that comes with stage anxiety and understanding that it is the exact same physical response as excitement can aid us in quickly converting negative emotions to positive excitement and to the dissipation of nervous fear. Lastly, I would say focusing on the music, the content, is key because it leaves you no time to focus on your own discomfort, which will quickly subside as you are immersed in the execution of your rendition of a work. What piano advice would you give to yourself if you could go back in time? Well, first, start at a younger age. But seriously, of course, to practice and practice more and learn as much repertoire as possible. Do not rely solely on the technical challenges of the works you're performing to develop your technique. Remember the old doctrines of the Rosina, Joseph Levine, and later Neuhaus schools of teaching, in which technical drills are an important part of your practice every day and of maintaining your pianistic apparatus. Secondly, do compare yourself to the greats and be honest and unemotional about your shortcomings. Getting past defensiveness and learning to love every stage of your development as a process is a huge step towards unlimited growth as a musician and person. Is there anything else you would like to tell our applicants? In terms of parting thoughts, I want to tell every competitor and applicant that we are first and foremost musicians, and we deeply appreciate your talent and effort. We're dedicated to giving you a truly fair chance to showcase your talents and endeavor to make the often stressful experience of competing as a musician something truly enjoyable and positively exciting. Come prepared, and once in beautiful Nashville, enjoy yourself. Talk to your fellow musicians, explore the city in its unique vibrance, and be free on stage to play the performance of your life. See you soon in Nashville.